All right. G'day, legends, and welcome back to the Laptop Lifestyle Dad Show, where we help frustrated marketers and freedom-focused parents master AI, attraction marketing, and build online businesses that work for them, not the other way around. Hey, I'm your host, Jeff Ross, coming to you from the beautiful island of Tasmania here in Australia. And today we're unpacking some gold with heart-led legend who's not just building a business, but he's also building the kingdom. And as you know, as an online pastor, that's something that's really close to my heart. So really looking forward to getting into today's episode. Before we do that, this episode is brought to you by the Laptop Lifestyle Dads Academy, the only program out there that teaches you purpose-driven network marketers and affiliate marketers how to build scalable, story-rich, AI-powered businesses without burnout. And if you'd like to learn more about this and how you can turn your mission into momentum, go check out the show notes below, and let's get started. So today we have our guest, Travis Whatley. Now, hopefully I pronounced that correctly.
That's right.
And please correct me, Travis, if I mucked that up. But Travis is a husband. He's a dad. He's a Jesus follower. He's the founder of HolyWebs, a digital agency helping small businesses grow with strategy, soul, and authenticity. He's not just here about the hustle. He's here to help. Let's dive into how this man of faith is creating real results for clients and modeling what it actually means to lead with conviction in the digital world. So, Travis, every mission begins with a moment. What was that defining moment that made you realize your work had been rooted in purpose and service, and you do what you do today?
Yeah. So first, thank you for having me on the show. I'm super excited to be here. I love everything that you're doing. Being an online pastor is so it's unique, right? It's like what the world is,
It's a bit different.
Like in a lot of ways. But it doesn't matter, right? Because you accepted what that calling was and you're pushing forward for it. So I do appreciate that. For me, what the maybe turning point was, or that moment was, just understanding, I was a youth pastor before this. I was volunteer, I was bivocational, I was all in the mix of it. I was trying to piece together my income and make it all make sense. And I wasn't looking to start a marketing agency. This wasn't on my radar at all. And we actually had a guy at our church that was in leadership with us. And he happened to ask, me, of course, I was the youth pastor, do you know anybody that builds websites? I'm like, no, just because I'm the youth pastor doesn't mean I know anything about marketing or anything about it.
Just because I'm young, right?
Yeah, just happen to be the youngest person, right? So no, I didn't know. And he, nonchalant, made a joke. Hey, I'm paying $1,500 if you know someone. I'm like, well, yeah, I mean, I could do it.
I'll figure it out.
Yeah, I could figure it out. It's $1,500. And especially at the time, man, as a youth pastor, $1,500. I mean, that might as well have been my whole salary.
Yeah, I get it.
I just was like, okay, I'll do it. We met on a Friday. We had a good conversation. He told me what he wanted. As I was walking out the coffee shop, he said, oh, by the way, I want it on WordPress. And he said, when do you think it'll be done? I said, probably Monday. No idea. No idea that you really can't build websites in 2 days. Especially over the weekend.
The naivety of it all.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, Saturday, I had basically had Saturday, right? Because we had to be at church on Sunday. So, it was really tough, but I ended up just going all out war, Reddit, YouTube, learn everything I could possibly learn. And Monday, I delivered the website to him. I walked in, I showed him what it was, and I was terrified. I thought this is absolutely trash, and found out he liked it. He was like, dude, this is awesome. And
it's funny how our expectation is something completely different to other expectations, right?
Yes, 100%. That was the biggest thing for me. I was nervous because I had never done that before, and especially on WordPress. And so I showed it to him, and he's like, this is amazing. He ordered another one right away for his second business. And my eyes just were lit up. What just happened? What am I doing? And it just never stopped. I had another youth pastor buddy that started a business. He called me, he wanted a website. It just kept unraveling itself, and God was just revealing this new path. And so now I just kind of ended up being in a situation where I'm like, where do I go from here? And I had a huge heart for ministry leaders. That's always been my thing. I've always been an encourager. I've always been the guy who will find an opportunity for someone, put them in a position to get them up on their feet and give them a little bit of hope. And so that's exactly what ended up happening as we were scaling this business and as we've been growing it. I was only serving my local market. Went all in our city. And we kind of realized pretty quick, like, that's going to stop. Like, you're going to reach a certain point where, okay, you became
You
the
hit a
most,
ceiling. Yeah.
yeah, the ceiling. Like, you became the most known for what you do. So what do you do after that?
Mm.
Um, and so we had two options, right? We could scale for our benefit or scale for the benefit of others. And so we decided we were going to go and scale this thing so that other ministry leaders can get themselves involved in,
Yeah, I
really
love the
change their.
heart behind that. Mm.
It was a big deal for us because I knew the struggle and I knew God got me to this place, and it wasn't something that I set out to do on my own. It just was revealed to me.
Yeah.
It all came from someone asking me like a simple question: do you know someone that could build a website? And I just never thought about it that way, and it just connected
Yeah,
in my.
yeah, yeah.
And I thought, wow, I didn't know someone, but I became someone, right?
Yeah, I
And
love
so,
that. Wow. Yeah, what's that saying? God doesn't call the qualified, but he qualifies the called, right?
hundred
And
percent,
feeling very much that, in this journey I'm in at the moment with starting an online church, just 12 months ago with my beautiful wife. And man, I was an atheist 10 years ago, and I haven't gone to Bible college or anything like that. I'm just figuring this out as we go. I've got some really great, mentors, and our church that we're part of, the Taras community, is helped supporting that conversation. But yeah, it's a bit of a different world. And when you're figuring out, you're building the plane and you're flying it out at the same time, there's a few set of challenges that come with that, and I think you have to be a little bit crazy to even want to even put yourself into that situation, right?
100%. Yeah, there's a
Mm.
lot of overcoming mindsets and fear and opinions of people and worry and doubt and all this stuff that goes into, being in business. But, truth be told, for me, even I felt like that was also true in ministry anyway.
Mm.
And so I just realized it's really the same thing. Like, you're not talking about two different things. I think even Jesus wants us to get connected both in the business world and in ministry world and
Yeah,
figure out how can they work together. That's when you're going to
yeah,
create something magical and something special.
yeah, yeah. Look, and I look, through my own journey. I look at other people's journeys too, and I see people who are successful are the ones who are dug in. They've got a purpose, they've got a mission, they've got a heart behind it, and it's not just about the transaction or the sale. It's about the reason, the impact, and what are you leaving behind for the greater good, right? And that
100%.
is a key difference I see for a difference maker for a lot of people. Would you agree?
100%. And I feel like the reason that it's important to, feel called or have that calling or have the vision for it is because if you don't have that, when it gets hard, then you're just going to quit. You're just going to say something else would be better than this. And I
Yeah,
think that's a lot of ministry leaders understand that. But maybe a lot of business guys are like, oh, it just didn't work out. I'm like, well,
yeah,
it's a whole different story if God called you to it. Like, and
yeah.
you end up realizing that. And
It's
so that,
it really is the difference between building a house out on rock and building a house on sand, right? It's that
yeah,
reason for being.
yep,
Yeah. No, I love it. So, man, you help small businesses to grow ethically and authentically. And I think that's quite unique, especially in today's world with the rise of AI. It's become a very noisy place. I reckon the world's probably starving for connection and starving for trust more so than ever have been in any time. So you in a world that's obsessed with fast and fake influence, how do you help your clients focus on the real value instead of just the vanity metrics?
so this is an interesting question. It's actually a lot easier than you might think. A lot of people get very distracted by, like you said, all the shiny stuff, everything that's going on over here, over there, what their brother is doing, what their competition is doing, all these things. And then truthfully, it just comes down to like a pretty simple thing. What do you want to be known for? Like,
Mm.
specifically, what do you want your business to be known for, your ministry to be known for, whatever it might be? How do you think that, the way you live your life out, how is it going to play out? How should it impact people? All those things. And when you do that, then all of a sudden, everything else just fades away because you're focused on the main thing, right?
Mm.
Uh, and I think even like if you just take the Bible, like, and it comes down to how many people have tried to interpret, what the specific meaning is of certain things when ultimately there is only a singular truth about it
Mm.
that exists. And that's the power and the job of the Holy Spirit to come in and help us understand those words that, what were spoken and we're never going to return void. And so for me, I just always have to remind myself and go back to, like, what is the mission? What is the main thing? What is the goal? And that can be true if you're in a roofing business, if you're in, windows or gutters or whatever it is, doesn't matter. But ultimately,
You figure the rest out. Yeah.
yeah, you'll figure it out along the way. But why did you start the business? We have to go
Uh,
back to that. And then let's build the marketing, let's build the campaigns, let's build the guarantees, the promises around that, not
uh.
around AI or, I think we use AI in a weird way where our immediate thought is, how can I stop doing this thing
How
and
can
get,
I shortcut the system? How can I free up my time to,
yeah,
so I've got more time for entertainment, right?
yeah, you almost like forget why the customer hired you in the first
Yeah,
place.
yeah. No, I get it.
They would have got their own AI if they didn't want you as a part of the equation.
Yeah. No, it's very much our mantra is it's AI plus our heart equals our superpower. It's AI is a partnership, right? It's an extension of what we do. It's not a replacement of what we do.
100%.
Mm. Yeah, no, I love that. So, I'm even reflecting, like even, Jesus' story, even Paul's story, like they had a real purpose and a mission behind what they were setting out to achieve. So much so that, like Paul went through shipwrecks, he went stoning, he was, he was imprisoned and everything like that for his belief and his mission. And I think when you come to that heart, that purpose, then nothing can stop you, right?
And the unique thing about, like, especially in Paul's situation, and I think this applies to virtually anybody that is a child of God involved in believing in who God is, and in Jesus. When I think about things like that, what I feel like God was doing in that situation with Paul was he was looking at the character of Paul. He was looking at
Uh-huh.
what is valuable here that I can use for my own glory, for the glory of God, right? And
Uh,
Paul was so committed. He was the one of the most loyal, like, he was on mission for God while he was
yeah.
killing Christians.
Yeah.
He just didn't understand the actual meaning, the truth behind what was being said.
Yes.
He thought that the truth was being threatened when it wasn't being threatened.
Yes.
It was being played out. And it took a singular moment of just complete 180 repentance and salvation and turnaround for Paul to realize, wow, like, I've been on the wrong road this entire time and I'm going to do something different. But the one issue is, like, it's not always that way. Like, in our life, it's not always going to be a 100% turnaround moment. Sometimes it's a
Mm.
gradual walk that it takes to get to where God has us to go. But you have to be able to understand, like, and look backwards and connect the dots to see where it makes
Yeah.
sense. Right.
Yeah. No, and look, the key word there is definitely, obviously leaning into the Holy Spirit and asking for discernment and all of that sort of thing. Do you have a story in your own life, in your own business, where you thought you were going down the right road, but then, you've had a circumstance or a situation, stop you in the middle of the tracks to help sort of guide you and put you onto the right track and bring you back onto God's plan?
Yeah, I think so. So I was I got into to be the youth pastor because I was on a normal trajectory of, I grew up in this church. I was in children's ministry. I went to youth ministry. I was a youth
The normal
leader.
expectation of that
Yeah.
journey, yeah?
Yeah. I was just, like,
Yeah.
looking around, like, God, what do you want me to do? What should I be involved in? And then we went and helped plant a church and they needed a youth pastor. And I was standing there like, I think God's calling me to this, right? Like, every kid at youth camp feels like they're supposed to be the youth pastor. And so I just was like, I'll do it, I'll do it. I ended up realizing, like, not a huge fan of teenagers, but I love them and I love that, God loves them and I want to be an encourager. But it turned into this thing of, like, me looking around for what's next. And I was like,
Uh,
what is it? What's the next thing? How do I graduate out of this? Yada yada. And truth be told, I thought I was going to become a campus pastor. I'm like, I must need to open up another, location. That's what it is. And so I kind of started dabbling in that. And almost like at the exact same time is when HolyWebs started coming around. And we started
Interesting.
doing marketing and websites. And I didn't it really never even became about the money. It always became
Yeah.
about the impact. Like, I was just
Yeah, yeah,
surprised.
yeah. The purpose behind it, the heart behind it. Yeah.
Right. Like I was having conversations with small business owners and realizing, whoa, like these people just need hope. Like that's the problem. Like they need
Yep,
hope.
100%.
They're just
Yep,
like teenagers in a lot of ways, you know. They're filled with anxiety. They have a million questions. They
yep.
are not sure what to do next, you know. So I was like, hey, let's just go all in on that and see what that would look like. And I
Yeah,
ended
no,
up
I love that. I totally relate to that. I see what I do here in the marketing space as an extension of what we're doing for our online church. It's just that, it's our tent making business, right? It's part of us putting us into the marketplace to be able to put us out there and into the field where people need us, need us to be. Like Jesus didn't come to heal the healthy. He came to see the sick, didn't he? And like, just like Paul, just like Jesus, he was out into the field. He wasn't stuck behind four walls in a church and waiting for people to come to him. He was out there and meeting people out, in the marketplace. And
100%.
I love what I get to do in that space, and I'm sure you can relate. That it's not about being preachy and and all that sort of thing, and being rah 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 about it, but it's about being in a space where you can help people feel seen, heard, known, and understood, and then build relationship with them, build connection with them, and essentially, bless them, and go through that space where you get to listen, you get to eat with them, you get to serve with them, and then that opens up the doors for opportunities to share the good news and stories, right? Yeah. No, I love that. Cool. All right. Well, let's talk about starting again, or you're guiding someone to get started in this space. So let's pretend a young entrepreneur who's just come to Christ. I think of myself in that journey. And wants to start a business that honors their faith. What would you teach them in their first mentoring session?
So I think the first thing I would probably teach them is to understand the opportunities that already exist, like in front of them.
Mm-hmm.
Because the one issue that I see with a lot of people is they act as if they need to know immediately, like right now,
Mm.
what will I be doing for the next 50 years? And I got to tell you, you're probably not going to be doing the same thing in the next 5 years. Like it's very likely you're not.
No, I
So
think I've done about 20 things in the last 40 years.
yeah, exactly. Especially if you're like going to go into the self-employed, realm, you got to
Yeah.
figure it out every year, and be surprised if you're doing the same thing as you were last year, right?
Yeah.
Um, and so for me, I always tell them, hey, go contact 100 people that you know personally and say, I am looking for an opportunity. And then don't say anything after that. Let those people tell you what they see in you already, right? Because they already think something about you, like as in, not nothing negative, but as in they would be good at this. And so what you should
Mm.
do is let them tell you what you might be good at and then go and explore that. Go figure it out for a little bit. See if that's something you think you would be interested in because oftentimes other people see the best stuff inside of us and we can't see it for ourselves. Um,
Mm. That's
and
brilliant
so
advice.
yeah, I think it's practical. I think it helps people, move the needle forward a little bit. That's really what you're looking to do. Because a lot of times it's very easy to just come complacent and complain that you have no opportunity, that you have
Mm.
nobody that cares, nobody that wants to help you. Well, if that's the case, then it means one of two things. You're believing a lie or you haven't gone and served anybody else. Like that's
Mm.
all it means. Go spend time serving other people and you'll find out what you like. That's as
Mm.
simple as it is.
That's great. I love that. Go find people you can serve, and you'll find what you like in that space. I love that. And that's very prevalent to me. Like I've got three young boys as a father. I've got a 13-year-old, a 12-year-old, and an 8-year-old. So I'm always looking for ways to, steer them and guide them and parent them and lead them and all that. So yeah, that's great. I love it. So I know you value, discernment, and with all of the AI tools that are floating around now, how do you decide when to use AI and when to stay purely human in this space? Like, how do you support AI in your journey, or how does it support you? And what do you tell your clients or peers who are unsure in this space?
Yeah. So I believe AI is probably not going anywhere. Right. Like now
No,
we
I think
figured
it's here to stay.
like
I'm pretty sure it's here to stay. It's like the internet.
yeah, it's here to stay. It's another, thing that's been added. But I always tell people to be cautious because it's easy to put all your hope and all your trust and all your faith in something that, you know, feels as though it is a golden opportunity for you.
Hmm.
But the reality is that it's not that the market for, you know, what we do, or the market for AI, or, you know, any of that. It's not that the previous thing went away. I believe what's happening is that a new market is being added on top of the old market
Hmm.
that already existed. And now what you're watching happen is you're watching a whole group of people, you know, flood into a new market, but the old market is still there. And so there's still people who value honesty, trust, building relationships, showing up in person, being local. Like, I'm proof of it, because that's what we've built our whole entire business off of. That's actually
Hmm.
my model to scale. So as I watched people flood the market and go to, you know, humanless conversations and interactions, it made me realize, wow, the opportunity to be a human has never
Yeah.
been. It's
Yeah.
never been better than right now.
Yeah. And it's easy. It's actually easy to stand out more because when everybody's zigging, you find the way to zag, right?
Yes. When we first in Charleston, South Carolina is where we live. And when I first started HolyWebs, I was going to people's businesses with my laptop and showing them what we can do. I was calling them on the phone, talking to them, showing them what we could do. And when I would go to their business, they would look at me like, "Who are you? Like, where have you been? Like, this
Yeah,
is."
that wow factor, right?
Yeah, and a part of it was like COVID, you know, that caused a big, like, everyone stayed away from everyone. But then I just
Yeah.
kind of realized, like, wow, even after COVID, 3 years later, 4 years later, no one was going to see people in person anymore in business. And, you know, I would walk in with a box of donuts and it was like they wanted to give me the keys to the building. They're like, wow, like,
Yeah.
you're here. It's so amazing, you know, whatever. And
Yeah.
that's just been our model, and it's been working for us.
Yeah, no, it's like it's the old pendulum swing, right? When transition happens, we normally go too far to the left with too far to the right until we sort of find that middle ground again before another change happens before it. So, no, I love it. I love it that you're always keeping your finger on the pulse and you're always looking to ways to, yeah, definitely keep the human in the loop for sure.
Yes.
So, if you had to sum up your business, in core sort of strategies and values and everything that you do, what would those three core strategies be, and what why would they be important to you, and how could you explain that to what you do in the world?
Yeah, I think for us, obviously, our first value would definitely be people. Like,
Yeah, I'm
uh,
definitely picking that up.
yeah, you're never gonna run out of the opportunity to serve people. Like, it doesn't matter what industry you're in, that's what you do for a living, is you serve people. I think it's easy to think, oh, marketing might go away, web design might go away, SEO might change, all these things, but ultimately people won't. You know, like, you need to be able to be available to them. That's kind of what we do. I think the second thing for me would be is to be available, right?
Mm,
Um, there's a huge, I don't know if you've seen it, and I'm sure you feel it, but there's a huge shift right now of this, like, no culture. Like, everyone is all hyped up on telling people no, because whatever you have going on doesn't fit inside of the mission or the vision that I'm on. And so
yeah,
you're literally telling people, you are a waste of time to me if you are not also heading in this direction. And look,
yeah,
I'm not against having a vision. I'm not against, like, moving in a certain direction at a certain speed. But also remember the Good Samaritan. Remember Jesus, who was like the most important person that's ever walked the entire earth and didn't seem to be in a rush. Like, anywhere he went, he was pretty content with, like, being in the city, and then understanding, like, at the appointed time he'll have to move to the next one, right?
mm,
Uh, so I always try to leave space in my calendar, leave space in my day for people that just I don't know who I'm gonna meet, day to
yeah.
day.
Always have a
And
space there to be available. Yeah, I love that.
you can really factor that in too. Like, it's easy to
Mm,
do. You can just account for it. And I always call it, like, basically, like, my opportunity hour. Like, what will that opportunity look like to chat with someone? And I just kind of,
mm.
after 3 o'clock every day, I don't take any more calls. I always just leave that open, because I know the small business owners likely getting off work or heading home, and they're going to call, and we just have good conversations, or I do stuff
Yeah, that's
like this.
powerful. Mm,
Yeah, so I think the third thing is to, and this is probably more practical for us, but what we do at HolyWebs is we really focus on, like, the foundations. And I think that that comes from maybe like just ministry itself too, is that you have a student that comes to your group, or you have an adult that comes to one of your groups or your Sunday service, and they're all kinds of twisted, right? They got so many things going on in their life. They're stressed out, they're worried, they're anxious. And what is our job? What do? We always point them back to the foundation, like
Uh,
back to the word, back to God. And so for us, we do the same thing with our marketing. Like, we understand that's why it's called HolyWebs, right? Is we focus on the actual web design. Like, when
uh,
we build out your website, this is the whole anchoring, structure of your marketing plan. And so we don't get lost in, you know, pretty videos and pretty graphics and things that, feel good and look good. I'm happy for you to have that. But if it's not moving the needle, if it's not contributing back to, you know, you're not building a stable platform, we don't need it, right? We need to just
yeah.
build something that's going to last as long as it can.
Yeah, no, I love that. So, let's quickly wrap this interview up. And man, this is absolutely brilliant. I'd love to actually come back and go a bit deeper on a specific
Yeah,
topic.
100%.
But if you had the opportunity now to, leave our audience with one takeaway, with one thing that they could go action today, what would that be?
So I would say to dream big. That's probably what I would leave you with. And that I'm stealing that because that actually came from a author. His name's Bob Goff, and he wrote a book called Dream Big. And the
Great book.
reason that we have HolyWebs today is because of that book. It
Yeah.
really shifted my mindset of understanding how big God is, and that I just believe that he doesn't want to do anything small with his people. Like, he doesn't want to do anything small with his people.
Yeah.
And the reason is because we are the most resourced people that walk the entire, face of the planet, is because we can call down from heaven whatever we might need, whether it's a heart thing, whether it's a financial thing, whether it's a vision thing, whatever it is, God is the one that will supply it ultimately for us. So I just believe in dreaming big. I
Mm,
think that's what I would
that's
say.
beautiful. I love that. So, mate, if our listeners, wanted to reach out, they needed more of what you have to offer, where could they contact you? How could they learn a bit more about HolyWebs? And we'll make sure all the links are in the show notes below.
Yeah, 100%. So, yeah, pretty easy enough. If you want to learn about HolyWebs itself, you can go to holywebs.agency. If you're looking for an opportunity, you can go to holywebsuniversity.com. It's our training, it's our program on how we do everything that we do at HolyWebs. This is specific to ministry leaders. So, we were looking to partner with ministry leaders and help them impact their local community. All the software and training and all the classes and everything for you to basically start your own HolyWebs in your city is right.
Yeah, wow. Definitely have to talk to you a bit more about that, especially with what we're doing in the online church space. We've got 8 countries involved in what we're doing, and
Awesome.
we're pretty early days. We've only got probably about 150 people in the group, but yeah, I think
Oh,
there's opportunity for us to connect and partner up a little bit more on that and see what we can do. But that'd be yeah, that's another conversation for another day. We'll have to park that one, but I absolutely love that idea.
love it. Love it.
Uh, Cool, man. Well, as I mentioned to you going into this, and all our listeners know that I love to wrap up these episodes with a bit of a dad joke. Can't help myself. And I've actually run out of content. So I've been asking Chatty to help support me on this space. And so gave it a couple of frameworks. And one of those frameworks is dad joke must be cringeworthy, right? So here's a ChatGPT dad joke for you. Why did the ethical marker, the ethic, why did the ethical marketer bring a Bible to his sales meeting?
No idea.
Because he wanted to lead with the conversion, but of the internal kind.
Oh my goodness.
Ah, Chatty, that is terrible.
Yes. Well, that just tells us it looks like we're going to be okay for a while with AI.
Yeah. I think that missed the mark completely, and I think we're all good.
At best, we'll just start writing authentic dad jokes and then we'll be fine. So.
There we go. Well, thank you very much, Travis. This has been an absolute pleasure, mate, getting to know you a bit better. So, legends, remember, it's not about doing more. It's about doing what really matters. Travis has just given us a mini masterclass in leading with your values and building, a business with vision and heart behind that. So take something you've heard today, even if it's just one truth, and start living it. Like, go and apply it. Knowledge is only good if it's applied knowledge, right? So Hey, this is Jeff Ross and Travis Whatley signing off for the Laptop Lifestyle Dad Show. Thank you for your time. Stay caffeinated, stay legendary, and we'll see you in the next one.